I survived 150 days in vanilla extreme skyblock. In this challenge, there is no chest and no water. I barely even have blocks. From just a tree and some dirt, can I survive and beat the Wither and the Ender Dragon? Watch and find out. On day 1, I woke up on an island in the middle of the void. I took a quick look around and got right to work. I cut down most of the tree, but didn't want the saplings to drop just yet. If I didn't get a sapling, I'd have to restart. To give myself a better chance, I built a platform out of dirt and slabs. Made sure to leave a grass block just in case I might want it in the future. I broke the leaves with my fist and I was able to get 3 saplings. We're off to a great start. Now it was time to wait for them to grow. As I was waiting, I thought of the mod where you could shift to grow trees. Out of sheer boredom, I did a little dance. Nothing happened. Not surprised, but that sure would have been nice. I knew that when night came, there was no hope in my trees growing. So I waited through day and night, through rain and shine. I was poor without any blocks to my name. With nothing to do, I may have made myself a sandwich. When I came back, I chopped down the second tree. My first objective was to get down to Y0. Using a little known trick, I slowly descended. It works by using trapdoors. Use one to make you crawl, and then you can see the bottom of the other trapdoor in place below. I repeated this for a while I waited for more trees. With barely any resources, this process took me up until day 6. Finally, I was done, but I needed a better way to get trees, so I started on a tree farm. I collected up as much saplings and as much dirt as I could afford. Since my base was going to be barely above the void, I needed a tree farm down there too. After I was done, I put a layer above the trees so that none of those annoying big ones would grow. Only issue was that mobs could spawn on the dirt blocks. I didn't have any way of getting light. I couldn't make charcoal without a furnace, which needed stone. Who knew stone could be a luxury? My workaround for this was making a bed. So I made a tiny spawning platform for spiders, and a bunch spawned in just one night. As well as a ton of bats. Not sure why these were even added to the game. I feel like I should explain why I wanted my base so low down. Minecraft likes to spawn monsters way more often the lower you go, and the difference is huge. So every grinder was going to be as low as possible. I mean, look, there's only 2 monsters on the right. For days 9 through 17, I slept every night to avoid enemies while I worked on my mob grinder. It used some cool tricks to move the mobs around, even though I didn't have water. It was at a super low Y, so I knew the rates would be good. I covered up the top and made it as dark as possible so that I could grind it 24/7. And trust me, I needed to grind it for a bunch of resources. A key mechanic it uses is the fact that monsters like to pathfind towards full blocks and not slabs. So in my farm, the monsters spawn on half blocks and work their way over to solid blocks where they fall to their death. I also need the spawning area to be a very specific block range for me. I need monsters to be at least 24 blocks away to spawn, but less than 32 to move. So somewhere between the green and red glass. As you can see, my farm does that pretty much perfectly. The main thing I needed for my farm was zombies. Zombies have a rare chance of dropping carrots, potatoes, but most importantly, iron ingots. So the plan was, kill a bunch of zombies, get a bunch of ingots, make some cauldrons, and have them fill up with rainwater until I can get a bucket worth. I wasn't sure how many cauldrons I would need, but I was thinking around 9. On day 20, I was able to craft my first cauldron. I hoped it would rain soon. I timed my farm and found I was killing around 1,000 zombies an hour. That's 8 ingots worth, and I was proud. On day 26, I placed my third cauldron and already had 2 bottles worth of water. One more and I'd have infinite water. The other important thing I needed was golden armor. Both zombies and skeletons could drop this for me. But it was rare and I needed a ton of it. With the furnace, I could smelt each piece down into 1 nugget. Do that 144 times. That's right, 144. And you have enough for 2 golden apples. Days 27 through 35, I grinded away for armor and iron. I'd kill the right side, then I'd kill the left side. Then I'd combine all the useless bows I got from skeletons so they wouldn't clutter my inventory, and then put all the drops into chests. Wasn't too much fun stuff happening, but I was tired of wooden tools. On day 36, I crafted my 5th cauldron, and I had enough iron left over for 3 buckets. I also had all the gold armor I needed to make the gapples. It was a great day because it was raining too. On day 37, I got the last bit of water I needed. I used a glass bottle to make infinite water. 11 hours of playing just to get water. Finally, I could start getting stone. I collected the only lava source in the entire world and made a cobblestone generator out of wood. I quickly upgraded it to stone because, for some reason, I didn't want my entire island to all just burn down. With my new hard-earned stone tools, I chopped trees for the rest of the day. On day 38, I started planning for villagers. I needed them to give me babies, so I made a spider farm to get wool so I could give them beds and, they could do their thing. The farm used the same mechanics as my other farm, was low to the ground and used pathfinding. I made the spawning platforms close together so that only spiders could spawn. I gave it a test run and it worked great. Day 39, I smelted down all my gold armor. With all those nuggets, I made 2 golden apples. With a weakness potion in those, there were so many more possibilities. I could get iron and even diamond tools for myself. So on day 40, all that was left to do was get zombie villagers and a witch ready. This took way too long and almost killed me. But luckily I had upgraded my food from carrots to baked potatoes and had some pretty good regen. She kept missing the zombies and not throwing weakness, so I made a few tweaks. Eventually I was able to get them both converted. Finally, I had the villagers, but I needed more. So on day 43, I set up a villager breeder. I boated them over to the farm and trapped them there until night. They would go to sleep and be stuck there for the rest of their lives when they woke up. But hey, after farming some carrots and giving them some, they didn't care and got right to work. On day 45, I started on an iron farm. I built a place to collect all the iron golems first, then worked on the rest. This farm uses a zombie to scare the villagers into needing an iron golem. It would be rough to get 3 villagers into each cell. Boat by boat, I got them into their positions, but they were fighting me on every step. It was like they didn't want to be tormented by a zombie for the rest of their lives. I was able to use water to push them into their new home. Finally, I would be able to get iron, which would make everything so much easier. On day 50, as the iron started racking up, I built a trading hall. The main way I wanted to get emeralds was from trading iron, but to even unlock that trade, I needed emeralds. So I used a fisherman who wanted string. Went over to the spider farm, collected some, and then bought some useless stone tools so that I could make bank selling iron. Once I had emeralds, I needed some stuff to spend them on. I really wanted a librarian, but had no sugarcane or leather. I figured out that if I fish up an enchanted book and put it in a grindstone, I can get a normal book. Do that 3 times and I could get a lectern. So on day 56, I started AFK fishing in a fish farm I found on a YouTube tutorial. But every couple days I checked and I got no books, no name tags, nothing good. So on day 62, I knew something was up. I looked into it on the wiki, and Minecraft made it so you needed a large enough pond to get treasure. So yeah, I just wasted some days getting some salmon and cod. On day 63, I made the best diamond pickaxe out of 5 picks I bought from villagers. It was efficiency 5, unbreaking 3, silk touch. It was beautiful. It makes me sad to think about. I'll tell you what happened. I made a stone generator that let me mine continuously, as I needed a lot of blocks for my next build. Well, I left myself AFK mining near my iron farm. When I came back on day 66, the unluckiest day, it was broken. All that work and emeralds I put into the pick gone. The next thing I needed to do was trade with wandering traders. They could give me sand, sugarcane, but most importantly dripstone, which I could use to make more lava. So I made a giant spawning platform for them. They spawn about every 10 days and the platform would help make it faster. I wanted this part to be super satisfying, but in the middle of it, I discovered that all the villagers that were born in my breeder were gone. They all died. It was quite the tragedy, but I distracted the villagers with some carrots and they forgot all about it. Starting at day 70, I went AFK, checking back every 2 Minecraft days to see if there was a wandering trader. So here's the summary. The first trader gave me vines and beetroot that I bought but never used. The second one gave me spruce saplings, never used, then some kelp and red mushrooms. But finally, on day 100, I got super lucky and got sea pickles. But for real, on day 112, I got exactly what I wanted. Dripstone. So I could use dripstone for 2 things. Either dripping lava into cauldrons, or creating more dripstone. So I used half for lava, and the other half for generating some more. I built them up, and on day 115, I had enough lava for the Nether portal. But I wasn't ready. I needed some good weapons, and I had one more farm to work on for something in the future. On day 120, I started working on my slime farm. Seems kinda random, but I had an idea. I used campfires as a way to kill the slimes as they were funneled to the center with water. Some slimes already started spawning, and I was scared they were gonna push me off, as I hadn't even died yet. But the rates were great once it started going. As I was waiting for slimes to spawn, I had to redeem myself for wasting days fishing before. This time I built a large enough pond and could actually get books. By day 126, I had all the books I needed. When I brought the books to a grindstone, I was surprised to find out that I couldn't remove all the enchants from the cursed book. But I had 3 books and I'd gotten a really cool bow, so everything was good. Now that I had a lectern, I got a librarian and could trade and get even more books. Now I googled how to build a portal fast to try to impress you guys, but it wasn't too great. But just being able to build a nether portal in this map is impressive, so I have that at least. After some trading, I got a bunch of books and was ready to make top tier weapons. I started on the bow, and then I named it "and subscribe," which makes no sense. I don't know what I was thinking. I ran out of levels while making my sword and had to use my mod grinder for a bit. Finally, I got my sword and I named it Like. Oh wait, now I get it. On day 132, I finally entered the void nether and made a little platform. I then went out over 400 blocks to the nearest place where a fortress would have been. Using the same tricks as before, I built a farm for all the fortress mobs. I continued farming until I had enough blaze rods for my next farm. I may have gotten a few wither skulls too. Finally, my slime farm wasn't useless anymore. I crafted the blaze rods into powder and combined them with the slime to get magma cream. Then I crafted 4 stacks of magma blocks. On day 136, I bridged down in the nether the same way I did at the start. It brought back memories, but this time I did it with much better tools and it was much faster. At Y0, I placed a spawning platform for zombie pigmen out of magma, which would help with the rates of the farm. I put a small roof to prevent gas from spawning and knocking me in the void. I gave the farm a test. It was amazing. I manually killed the pigmen with looting 3 to get a lot of extra drops. I would need this gold to trade with piglin and make the best foods, gapples and golden carrots. I was approaching my 150 day limit, so I needed to start preparing for bosses fast. First, for the wither, I needed an arena. I thought about a water arena, but figured it would just be annoying. Instead, I made 8 rows of slabs over a chunk, so I could stand and fight normally. I didn't test it out, but in my head, I thought it should work. After some trading for full prop 4 diamond armor, I was ready for the fight. Day 147 would go down as either the day I killed the wither, or the day the wither took over and destroyed my entire world. Just the initial wither blast broke through most of the first layer. I was getting nervous. If I fell off or died, there was no coming back. I quickly got the wither down to half health, but he was doing massive damage. The half a stack of golden apples I crafted literally saved my life. Finally, I killed the wither and collected the nether star. The slabs worked surprisingly well. Now it was day 148, and it was time to kill the ender dragon. I filled in the frame after getting ender pearls from the cleric. I jumped in and was ready for the fight. I was in the end now, no turning back. I took a quick look around and started bridging toward the crystals. I didn't want the ender dragon to get any ideas, so I kept listening and watching my back. This is probably my favorite ender dragon fight. So much on the line, and the void nether with only the pillars looks fantastic. One of the things I didn't have much of was ender pearls. While I was staircasing up, I noticed an enderman had spawned. I took that as an opportunity to get some pearls and possibly save my life. I was cautious and made sure the enderman couldn't hit me off, and that I didn't lose the pearls. I pearled over to the nearest crystal and placed a block below me before I could fall. I knew crystals did a ton of damage, so I was careful not to stand too close and have a block between me when I broke it. I started shooting at the crystals, but the dragon did not like that. After some fireballs and getting near me, I took some warning shots. No way did I want to get launched into the air. I continued my journey of breaking all the crystals. I took some risky ender pearls, but had faith that I was able to pearl clutch. Once all the crystals were gone, I started making a little base. I saw the dragon was perching and did some permanent damage to it. I knew I wanted to get some melee hits on it though, so I wasn't just going to kill it with cheap shots. While I was waiting, I built a little tribute to Skyblock, the classic cobblestone generator. I wonder what Skyblock where you start and the end would be like. I might have to try that. I bridged to the center over the portal, but the dragon was following me. I started towering up to get away from it. Once I was high above it, I knew I was safe for now. Except I wasn't. Out of nowhere, I got hit with a fireball and was pushed off the top. Luckily, I caught myself before I fell. Now I was ready to pearl down. I built a little base near the portal and filled it with water. Not exactly sure why, but I thought it might save me. Finally, the dragon perched and only had about a third of its health. I got some hits in and she was almost dead. A couple more shots and I had done it. I had defeated both bosses in the challenge. On day 149, all that was left to do was celebrate. I started with making the beacon. I'd gotten glass from one of my librarians, but it took a lot of emeralds to unlock. I'd also gotten a stack of gold blocks from my gold farm in record time earlier, so I used some of that mixed with the remainder of my iron. I feel like having a beacon in vanilla Skyblock is an insane flex. At one point, I only had 26 dirt. Now with the gravel from piglin trading, I was able to make as much as I wanted. All I had to do was craft coarse dirt, hit it with a hoe, and just like that, I was rich. I've been doing annual Skyblock maps for a while now, and this is the second one I recorded and the craziest ever. There's something about starting with nothing and the challenges that come with that brings me back. So I built a little tribute to the original Skyblock. As day 150 came to a close, I decided to put everything I've earned away. Goodbye tools, food, and armor. I kept a pearl and considered going over to the island I just created. Maybe just one more start. I was reminded of everything I'd done to get here and knew the journey was over. For now, at least. And that's it. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos just like this. This video took a lot of time and effort, and I plan to make much more like it in the future. If you want to play the map or check out the world, links are down in the description. Thank you so much for watching. See ya!